hasn't come up. Oh, there we go. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and all of you potential Toastmasters out there. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. I am your District 115 Club Growth Director, Ken Richardson. And with me today is my co-host, the lovely Phyllis Tribby, Distinguished Toastmaster and past District Governor. Good morning, Phyllis. Would you like to introduce our guest today?
Good morning, Ken, and good morning to our public. Yes, we have a guest visitor today. He is a past friend or a current friend or past known division director. Back when I was first an area director, which is at least 20 years ago, he was my division governor. So please welcome an old Toastmaster, Mark Zachman. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so grateful that you said yes when I asked you to appear. Can you tell us how you got involved with Toastmasters?
Well, Toastmaster always says yes to any request, and that's what I'm grateful to be able to do. When I first started out in Toastmaster, it was a company club. I was solicited by one of the employees. I didn't know if I wanted to do that or not, but I did. We had a co-club. Basically, we were part of a bank and a part of my company, or my company that I worked for. And the bank had a young management team that had to meet every single week as part of their training. These were bank people going on to bigger and better things. And it was great. They were young and energetic and gave a lot of life and vitality. Some of them went on to be bank branch managers. One lady went on to be a loan manager in several different banks in Las Vegas. So it was a good and interesting start. And every 6 months, their whole group changed. So we had new people coming in, and that was exciting too, because we had a chance to teach them about Toastmasters.
I know that you are a charter member of Summerlin Toasters.
Correct.
Were you involved in starting that club?
Absolutely. My company was located just off of the strip in Las Vegas, and we moved to the west side to a place called Summerlin, which is a 12,500 acre new planned community. It's almost 2/3 built out now over these years, but we started a club. There were several charter members besides myself. We had about 25 members initially, which is really a big start for a club. We met initially in the golf course. There was a major golf course in the area, and we met in the clubhouse and had a really nice start, and the pictures are spectacular. Unfortunately, we never had a 20-year anniversary meeting, which we should have, but we never got around to planning it. So that's the only regret I have in Toastmasters.
And are you still a member there? I know you have moved.
I have moved from Las Vegas to Reno, and they still have Zoom meetings, which I attend every once in a while. Again, the roster is reduced a little bit because of the COVID, and it's difficult to be able to keep a group going, as you probably are well aware.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of our clubs are suffering. Have they tried the hybrid format?
They have done that too. Yes, it's been fairly successful, but then they have to move the TV screen around to every person that's speaking, and that's kind of awkward, but it works.
Well, I had a hybrid meeting yesterday, and the computer we were using belonged to somebody that generally starts our meetings, and it did an update. Then it would not let us back on. So we had to do our hybrid meeting with 2 phones. No, you adjust, and we learn all these things. And I think in 5 years, we'll be so good at hybrid meetings, we'll wonder why we ever thought it was a problem to get going. But it's an interesting thing. And as I've always said, Toastmasters is for everybody. You're going to learn something. Come to a meeting for sure. And you can learn some about technology. So have you found a club in Reno?
Yes and no. Last night I got onto a Zoom meeting with a group called the Sierra Advanced Toastmasters. And we had a meeting, and they were kind of disorganized, I'm afraid to say. There were only 9 of us, actually 10. I'm the 10th person. at the meeting. It was like an hour and a half, so it was pretty long, and it was good. But I think I really enjoy the in-person meetings. I think the idea of being able to talk to somebody next to you and being able to interact on a one-to-one basis is more important, or as important as the meeting itself.
Yes, I believe you're right. It's when you're speaking, it's feeling the audience and
Exactly.
their reaction to what you're saying.
Mhm.
And you're able to move more gestures and move in the stage and really connect with your audience.
Exactly.
When you're just talking into a little box, it's like, do they hear me? Is there anybody still out there? Or have they all closed their screens and went to get coffee? Yeah, it is such a different thing. And I personally would like for us to go back to all in-person meetings.
Mhm.
I think that's what Toastmasters was originally set up for. And I think that's what works the best. But I don't see that in our future. I see hybrid in our future. What do you think about the future of Toastmasters?
Well, things change, everything changes. So I think we have to too, and have to adapt to the changes and be able to react and change ourselves.
Do you think it's because the younger people are more adept for working with Zoom, that's the reason why we need to keep moving forward in a hybrid meeting, that we'll get more members with
Absolutely.
hybrid?
Absolutely. They are part of the new generation for one thing, but they also are tech savvy and are able to feel comfortable with this type of a mechanism for speaking and being able to be a part of a community like us.
Yeah, I believe it's true that people have active lives. I mean, I'm retired and I could go wherever I went to whenever, but most people are stuck with work. And I believe if a hybrid platform, we get these people that can go, but we also get those that, come to an hour meeting because an hour is all they have out of their day because they work full time. So I'm all for the hybrid meetings, even though I love in person.
Well, I want to comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to comment back again about screenshots. You just have a headshot typically, and you don't really have a full body shot unless you put the screen way ahead of you. And it's hard to have gestures and full body movement, I think, in the screen. So I feel uncomfortable speaking. I have not given a speech on Zoom yet.
Well, now I have done several, and I've done several training sessions. And this position I'm in right now is what's available because my computer is stationary and the furniture behind me is stationary. So I don't do much movement. But yeah, you're right. It's like, how can you practice staging when you're still in this little box? I agree. But most people, the younger set, all have a laptop. So I have tried using my laptop in another room where I can get back far enough to be able to do staging. But, then it's like, I'm a little bitty person. It's like, do you even see the gestures that I'm doing?
I know.
You don't know what's coming, what's showing on your screen. I know you can make the screen go to only the speaker, and I suppose it's a little better, but yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal.
Well, and I think that you're right, Phyllis, that hybrid is probably the way we're going to go, and I think we're going to sort of sort out into clubs that only meet in person, clubs that are hybrid, and then clubs that only meet online. And as the technology improves, some of the issues that you've talked about, I think are going to resolve themselves because you're right, Mark, you were talking about all the equipment that you have to conduct a hybrid meeting. It's pretty impressive if you do it well. You need a couple of laptops that have cameras, or you maybe need a webcam, a separate that you can isolate on, and a couple of speakers for good audio. it can be a real challenge. And I know in my home club, which is Early Risers Toastmasters, we did experiment with hybrid, and it didn't work very well. We didn't get the turnout that we thought we would. So for the time being, we voted to stay online. Whereas my other club, Bon Appetit, which is an advanced club, voted exact opposite, to only meet in person. So I think that's what Phyllis said, what you've noted there is something that's going to be the future of Toastmasters, I think. And I think the technology will just continue to improve.
One comment I have about machines that we work with, people don't know how to react or present themselves on camera. And we had a speech given by one of our members who actually gave us some suggestions of how to be presentable on camera. And it's not going away and getting a cup of coffee or having your screen blank. It's not scratching your nose. I mean, there are ways. I mean, if you're watch the news every night, those people are very professional. And I think we should be able to be that way too.
What special tips did you get from that presentation, Mark?
Well, don't scratch your nose, and you shouldn't drink a cup of coffee because that's a disruptive. And those are the two main ones.
Yeah, that makes
presentable.
Yeah, I know last year and the year before, watching the speech contests on Zoom, I mean, I still enjoyed them, but I'm with you, Phyllis. I miss that in-person connection.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zoom works well for certain things. You know, I like doing the officer training on Zoom. I think that works well. You can record it. People can go back and look at it. But for things like a speech contest, that's got to be in person.
I agree.
Well, I've been working with the people in California. I've done several training sessions for District 33, one last year and one again this year. And I was all set to go over and visit with all of my friends at their conference. And then I find out that they are having a Zoom only conference.
Oh, wow.
Yes, International gave us the option. We could either do in person or we could do Zoom, but we could not do hybrid. So they voted to do a Zoom conference again. And that kind of knocked out everything of my going to visit. So I'm inviting all of my friends from California to come to our in-person meeting this year.
Good.
Absolutely. It's you know, we voted just the opposite. You know, we voted to have our convention in person. So we're set up for May 14th. We're going to be over at the Hampton Inn on Dean Martin and Tropicana, just off the 15. So we'll be in person this year. I'm so excited to get back in person. That I think it's going to be great because, you know, when we started our District 115, when we sort of split from District 33, it was 2019. And we were planning our first in-person conference when, you know, COVID hit and everything sort of shifted to online. So this will actually in 2022 be our first in-person conference. So we're really looking forward to that. Although I do miss a lot of my friends in District 33. I know, Phyllis, you do as well.
Will the International Convention this year be live?
Yes, it's going to be live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
So August, I think the official date's 17th through the 20th. I haven't seen a registration posted on the website yet, but as you probably know, the TI website is undergoing some major updates and upgrades, and it's been a little bit tricky to use. There's some aspects of it you can use right now and others that you cannot. But I went in to look to see if they had posted the registration yet, but it's not there. We just know it's going to be in Nashville. And of course, there will be some district officer training prior to the start of the convention earlier in that week. So I'm looking forward to that. And, you know, I have friends in Nashville and in that area of the country. So it's going to be a lot of fun for me visiting some old friends and family. Are you going to make it this year, Phyllis?
Well, I should have told you off camera, but I have been invited to go to South Africa to see Gary Knight. And so that kind of eliminates all of my other travel.
Oh my goodness. Now, is this a friend of yours?
Gary Knight was originally in Toastmasters when I joined Windjammers. He's been in many, many contests, but I would say that he probably left our area about 15 years ago to go over there and work with the Passion Play. And he met friends there and eventually decided to stay longer. And then they got him a job. He's a past math professor. So then he got his teaching and he just decided to stay, left us all behind. So
has he gotten involved with Toastmasters over there? Or?
I don't think he is. I think he's been involved, but I don't think he's right now a member. When Windjammers was doing hybrid, he was coming to their meetings each week, but they have since gone to only in person, I believe. But now Judy told me that there were members that were coming, and so they went back to hybrid. So I'm not real sure. I probably should go on the website before I say anything. I'm sure of what they're doing right now. But anyway, we're all anxious to go and see Gary. And Mark, of course, knows Gary. We ran around together back when.
Yes, and I'm considering that same trip, but I don't know if I can afford it.
Oh, well, you know, it's kind of like, what are you going to do with your money? You cannot save enough money for a big illness. You might as well spend it. So you spend a couple of stays at a nursing home or 2 months stay at a nursing home. Live it up, you know? Live it up.
What a choice, fellas. Okay, I'm going to go to South Africa or a nursing home.
Well, that's it. What else are you saving your money for? I mean, you know, come on, people. We're all close to that age, are we not?
As much as we might hate to admit it, yes. But I think that would be a really fantastic trip. I've never been to Africa, but South Africa certainly would be amazing. But also, I'm looking forward to back in person. We were all set. You may recall that the TI international meeting was going to be in Paris.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were getting all set. We were really excited to go back to Paris. We'd been to Paris before, but just briefly, and really wanted to go back. And then all of a sudden it got canceled. So I'm thinking it's got to be recycled to Paris one of these days.
Well, when I was doing the chairs, when I was to be the district governor, they were to be in Sydney. And I was all set. I've been to Australia before and Sydney, but I needed some extra time there. I love Sydney. There were so many things I wanted to see. And then, of course, we had a downfall, and they decided it cost too much money. And I was just really sad about that.
Was that in 2008, somewhere around there, 2008?
I was governor 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. So I suppose it was like 2010 we were to go there. But
a few years ago, the conference was held in Hawaii, and it was also one was held in Las Vegas.
Yes. I was part of the one in Las Vegas. It was held here a few years back. I was one of the volunteers, and I manned the information desk for folks who were looking for things to do in Vegas. Of course, there's never anything to do in Vegas, right?
No, of course not. but you know, the conference runs so long. Does this happen to be the one at Caesars?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, even though we were staying in the conference rooms, you know, it was miles to walk to anything. And 3 stories, I think, of escalators to get down to anything. And it's like, I don't know how, if you went to the conference, how after the conference you had enough energy to do anything else.
You camp out in the hallway.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, that was. You're right. The conference complex at Caesars is pretty amazing. But you're right. It's like 3 stories of escalators to get up there. But then one section of it overlooks the pool. So that's your teaser. That's your, oh, we got to go to the pool after this.
Well, it just seemed like there was not any time to do anything else but go to the conference. But I also was involved in the one that was at Bally's. So yeah, I did that one. We've done so many. It's like 25 years and I've always gone to conference. So yeah, we're out in the world.
Well, last year, of course, I did attend online, which just isn't the same at all. Particularly, I remember that year in Las Vegas, I was still working. I hadn't retired yet. So I largely got over there, I could take off a little bit early in the afternoon. But I remember watching the World Championship, the top 10 public speaking, and that was just the highlight for that. For me, it was the highlight. But then they had that big party. Do you remember that, fellas? Mark, did you guys go to that? They had a party the last night, I think it was, of the meeting. Oh, they really did a great job. I mean, we had so much fun. It was kind of a relief because, when you're on the volunteer committee, that's trying to make sure everything flows. And I know Jesse and Dana Oakley did such a great job in coordinating all of that. But when you're on that committee, there's a certain level of stress because you want all the Toastmasters who are visiting our city, our district, you want them to have a great time. So when that last night party came around, it was with a great sense of relief. It was like, oh, we did it.
Probably you're talking about the dinner and our reserved seatings. Yes, Mark was there because Bethany Gist was part of the volunteers. So yeah, we were all at the same table. So we were at the party, but you're right. You're so worked up for everybody to be having a good time and that you do your part and all your volunteers, because you have a list of about, I would say I had maybe 10 people, maybe 15 that were going to report to me as the chair to work the program where I was at, which was the business meeting. And to get everything right. And people want to come into things early, and getting them to stop. Can't come in. Yes, I know. Yeah. They give you all these.
We're not ready yet.
Yeah. They give you all these excuses about how long they've walked and how tired they are and their conditions. And it's like, I'm sorry. No condition will get you into this meeting. I've been told by,
Well, Mark, you've had a great experience in Toastmasters for several years. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about joining a Toastmasters club?
Well, get in small and then get bigger and bigger until you're in charge of something anyway. I think Toastmasters has a wonderful speaking opportunity, but leadership is also a very important part of our organization. And to be able to lead not only your club, but also your area and your division. I was one of both, or actually all three over time. I had 2 contests that I had to put on. One was a Western theme. I had a cowboy hat on, and it was a Texas station. Another one was a Hawaiian theme, and I had a grass skirt on the whole time. It was a clubhouse, a golf course clubhouse, and that was very successful too. So it's fun, but it's also challenging.
We're going to have to see if we can find, Phyllis, excuse me, pictures of Mark in a grass skirt.
I have that. I'm trying to live it down.
I think that's something that we need to put on a Facebook collage of, great moments in Toastmasters history. And here's Mark in a grass skirt and a Hawaii themed contest. I think that would be fantastic.
I think I even did the Hulu.
It is surprising what could show up on Facebook.
Oh, I know. I know. You never know who's taking pictures and when they're going to snap the shot that gets posted and generates the most discussion. But I think that would be fun if we have folks from around the district or District 33, when we're still part of that, send us some pictures from great meetings or special events that we've held over the years, and then create that collage. That would just be a blast. Maybe we should work on that, Phyllis.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Philip, is it Philip Delheimer? I don't think he's with
Oh, yeah.
our district anymore, but I bet he has a collection.
You know, you're right. And I think I still have Philip's contact information. And I'm not sure, he might still be a member, if I recall, of one of our clubs. I can't remember.
He was a
which one.
photographer, right?
Yes. You remember Philip? Yeah, he's probably got some great stories and some great photographs that he's taken over the years. So we'll
Of
have
course,
to.
Steve Goldstein did it for a long time.
Yep, Steve is another one. So we'll have to do that. I think that would be a great tradition for us to start, is to have an annual album of the Toastmasters year. That would be great. Post on the D115 Facebook page. And I noticed that Jennifer, our PRM, she is online. She says good morning to everyone. So we'll have to run that by Jennifer. I think that's a great idea. Well, I can see we are getting close to our time here. So we want to wrap up. And Mark, is there anything, sort of a final word or summary you'd like to say to our audience?
It's been very satisfying all these years to be a part of an organization which is personal as well as professional. And I give kudos to Toastmasters International for being just that.
Thank you. Phyllis, any final words for today that you'd like to wrap up with?
I think that everybody will know we have a fun time in Toastmasters. We've been around a while. We understand what's happening in Toastmasters, but we still want you to come and enjoy it and have a good time. We're having a good time every time.
Even at 6 a.m.
Even at 6 a.m. we can have fun.
We can absolutely have fun. And Wake Up with Toastmasters is one of the things that it is a joy. I mean, our program quality director, Dean Williams, has done a great job in creating things. For example, Wake Up with Toastmasters. If you'd like to be a guest, or if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. My email address is there on the screen, d115cgd@gmail.com. We'll get you scheduled in. We'll spend half an hour chatting with you, learning about your Toastmasters journey and the clubs that you are involved in, or other topics that you feel are germane and important for us to review. I want to remind everyone the most important things coming up. Well, I guess they're all important, but on April 23rd, we have the Divisions A and B speech contest, the evaluation and international. That's going to be at Palo Verde High School, starting at 8 a.m. Registration, I think the contest starts at 9. And then on April 30th, we will have the Divisions C and D contests, and that will be held in person at the historic 5th Street School. Again, I think the doors open at 8, contest starts at 9. If you need more information, please send me an email and I will make sure you get a flyer on that and know where everything is going to be held and how to get there and whatever else you need. And then, of course, I want one more plug for our annual convention on May 14th at the Hampton Inn on Dean Martin in Tropicana. I think it will start around 8 a.m. if I recall the scheduling. It's going to be great. We're going to have a banner parade. Some of you will remember that. We'll have a banner parade. We will have a communication and leadership recipient award. We'll have a keynote address, a couple of educational programs, and then, of course, the district level evaluation and international speech contest. So we're heading into a great time. Please send me an email if you need more information. And the last thing I want to plug before we sign off here is district leadership. We still have a great need for area directors. If you're interested, send me an email and I will give you a link to the application page on our website and sign up, because as Mark said earlier, getting into district leadership is the other side of Toastmasters. Many of us get in for communications. That's what I did. I wanted to be a better speaker, but I learned that there's a lot going on in Toastmasters that helps you grow as a person and as a leader outside the club and within the club. So if you're interested shoot me an email. I think that's it for today. We will see you again on Thursday, but tomorrow, Jennifer Smith will be here. And then on Friday, Gene Williams. So join us on Wake Up with Toastmasters. And if you have any questions or comments, send me an email. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good morning.
Thanks again, Mark. Bye-bye.